In this video, we are going to find the smallest missing integer greater than the sum of the sequential element of an array. Hello, I am Jagan from growwithdata. I am posting this video to share my knowledge in Python language with you. If this assists you in interview preparation anyways, I will be happy. Let's see the sample input data and we can talk about the question in detail. So we are given an array of integers. What we have to do is, starting with the index 0, we find the greatest sequence number. So here 3, 4, 5 is the sequence, right? The sequence number is nothing but the current element plus 1 should be the next one, right? It should increment by 1. So 3, 4, 5 is the longest sequence we get starting with the index 0. So if first you get the sequence and then get the sum of it. So it's 12, right? 5 plus 4 plus 3 is 12. So if you find the sum of the sequence, then you check if that number exists in the array. If the number exists, then you find the smallest missing one. Like if 12 exists, then find which is the next smallest one, 13. So 13 already exists. So which is the next smallest one is 14. So 14 exists. The next one is 15. So 15 don't exist. So the expected value is 15. So for example, we go with another array which is having 1, 2, 3, 2, 5. So the first sequence we are getting is 1, 2 and 3. So the sum of the sequence is 6. So we see if the 6 exists in the array, it not. So that is the smallest available number. So we just give the smallest one. If you want to go for a bigger number, right? So we go with this. When you see the sequence, the whole array itself is a valid sequence. The sum of all this is 297. So 297 doesn't exist. So that's the output. For example, if you have 297, then you see the sequence is this long, which is 297, which is existing in the array. So what is the next smallest one is 298. So this is what expected. So what are the steps we talked about? The first one is we have to find the sequence starting with index 0 and then you find the sum of it. So if you see the first one, 3, 4, 5 is the sequence. Sum of that is 5 plus 4 plus 3, so 12. Then you check if that number exists in the array. If not exist, then that is the output in this case. But if that value exists in this case, right, the 12 exists, then you increment one more number like 13 and check 13 exists. Again 14 exists. 14 plus 1, 15 doesn't exist. You give that as the output. So this is what the step we are going to try. So how to do that? Let's start with our favorite for loop. We take this as our input. Okay, now a function growwithdata, our input. Let's start with a variable 0. Then we just say for index in range length of nums. So first what we have to do, first you check if the index is the first array, okay, its index is 0, or you say the num of index, whatever the element we look for, is equal to the previous index array, okay, plus 1. So the previous array plus 1 is the current one. Then you just add that number, add that element, okay. If not, there's a difference, then you just break. So once you get that sum of the sequence number, we have to check if that exists in the array. If the result not in nums, if it's not there, so easy, return the result. If not, you increment 1 and then check if again it exists, right? Okay, let's see if we have any syntax here. Yes. So grow with data nums. Next one, grow with data nums. Okay, so it gives 15, right? So 12, 13, 14 and 15, right? It works fine. So what we are doing here, we are just getting the array and we check if the first index is the 0. Yes, if that is the one, then you just add to the result. The next one, we go with 4, right? The index is 1. So index is 1, so we check the previous one, 3, the index minus 1 is 0, so nums of 0 is 3, so 3 plus 1, so 3 plus 1 is equal to the current index array. 4, yes, is a sequence. Same way, when you go to 5, you check the previous one, 4 plus 1 is 5, matches, so it results is 3 plus 4 plus 5, and then go here, the index is 3, and go to the previous one, 5 plus 1 is 6, so 6 not equal to 1, so it goes to the break. So the result will have 12, and then just check if 12 not in nums, no, 12 exists. Then it comes here, 12 plus 1 is 13, is 13 exists in nums, yes. Then adds one more, 14, 14 exists, yes. Then comes here, add one more, 15, 15 exists, no. Then it returns 15. So that's why this for loop works. Okay, it's a simple one. Is there any other way we can just do the code? The same function or same logic, we can have a small change in it here. So if, for example, instead of saying default as 0, we can simply say we can assign the first element into the result. Now we can do the same range part of it, so we don't have to worry about the first one, right? So we just say, instead of going back and check, right? So if you are in the second index, we just go with the first index plus 1, right? We go back and check. Instead of that, we just say the index plus 1, the next one minus the current one, right, equal to 1. If that is the case, you just add 1 to it. Now the other things are the same. So instead of checking the previous element, now we are checking the next element. So next element minus the current element is going to be 1, and then we get the result. We are missing something here. Okay, this is not going to change anything, but if nums, okay, it's not minus 1, it's nums, right? So we just check if you are in the second index, index equal to 1, we just get the index equal to 2's position element 5 minus the current element 4. So you just say 5 minus 4 equal to 1. Yes, then it adds the 4 to it. So initially we just assigned 3 to a result. Now 3 plus 4, and then comes to the 5, right? Sorry, it starts with 3, assign 3 here, and then it checks with 3. So it just say 4 minus 3 is 1, so it adds 4 to it, and then it goes to 4. You just say 5 minus 4 equal to 1, so it adds 5 to it. So 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 12. Next it comes to the 5, and it checks the next number is not incremented, so it breaks. So 12, and again the same while loop. So you get the answer, right? So the same way we can do one more, like here we just go with the range index, and then again we are taking the index position here, right? and we say nums of index. If you want to reduce that, we can simply say edit, undo, whatever. So we just bring it here. So instead of range, you can say index val in enumerate. I prefer this most of the time, enumerate. So instead of nums of index, we simply say val, right? So not a big difference, but the code looks a little bit better. We haven't done much. Instead of the range, we just say enumerate and then index and val. Instead of referring to the array again, we can simply call the value here. So it works. This is a small one, right? Very simple. Now let's see if we can use a while loop. The previous couple of videos we tried the while loop, right? Let's see how the while loop works in this scenario. Okay, fine. Let's start with the same input array. So we call the function. We can try this one, right? Nums result equal to the first index position, right? We try that, and then we assign the index equal to starts with 0. We say while the index is less than the length of nums minus 1 and the nums of index plus 1 minus nums of index equal to 1, right? So this is what the condition we tried here, right? So the next value, next array element minus the current element is equal to, okay. So we just deleted that. Okay, we deleted that function. Okay, we just did this here. Where is it? Here. We don't have to use this, right? Okay. So we are using the same logic in the while loop. So index plus 1 minus the current element equal to 1. Then are we missing anything? Okay, length of nums. Right. So if that is the case, we just say the result plus equal to nums of index plus 1. Now we are incrementing the index plus equal to 1. So instead of the for loop, we convert that to a while loop. So here what we did, we just do the for loop which automatically increments the index value, right? So instead of that, we just do the index as 0 and we explicitly incrementing it, but the condition is the same, right? Okay, so once you have the increment value, we can directly use the same while loop. We don't need to go for the break, because this condition will take care of the things. So if the condition not matches, then the while loop will break. Same while condition, we can just call this function and see the result. Indentation. Oh, while true. Okay. So the same function, only thing is instead of for loop, we tried a while loop. So if you want to go for other samples we talked about, then we can try with other examples. Okay, we can have a finish line here, print passed. So once you run this, you make sure it passes all the test cases, right? So we mainly tried two logics. One is the for loop, where we start with the index as from 0 and then check the previous value and make sure it works. If not, you get the first array here and then you get the next array element, and then you see the difference is 1, and then you just check if it's in the input array or not. Based on that, you just return it. Same with the while loop. Instead of for loop, we just explicitly increment the index, and then we check the condition to make sure it's a sequence, and then you add the sequence values, right? And we check multiple test cases. All works fine. Hope you like this video, and thanks for watching.